did it all on my own. Turned a chair to a throne. I'm a king and it's why I start hard. I put my whole city
You are
on
now
to some
tuned into
things that
First
they
Round
never
by
would've known if I didn't start hard. And every night is a premiere. If I ever disappear, best believe I'm coming back. Start hard.
with your hosts, Justice General Radford, host of the Justice for All podcast, Jake Jordan, host of The Lowdown with Jake Jordan.
I'm an idiot. I forgot to add ours to the screen. Oh, what's up, everybody? Please don't blame me. I'm a little rusty. I have been gone for a little while, but I'm back. We're back. We're back. We didn't have a show last week. My apologies. Blame it all on me, but I'm back, man. I'm back. I feel better. A little better. Better is relative, I guess. But welcome to First Round by. We are your favorite Friday night guys.
Come on, Justice.
Okay, all right. You see, now people might think it's like on purpose at this point, but it's like when it gets to the point to say it, it's just like it's jumbled up in my head.
Like it's sitting there and it's perfect in your brain, and you're like, I'm gonna nail it tonight. I got it this time. And then it comes out, and then you're just like, oh shit, I did it again. But honestly, at this point, I've told you, if you got it right, it would be a little bit more concerning. So
right, we would think something's wrong. But excuse me, I'm sweating like a dog. Still probably have like lingering, but I just fought COVID, so you guys are gonna have to excuse me. I look a mess, but welcome to First Round by. We're back. All right, this is my man Jake Jordan. He is the host of The Lowdown with Jake Jordan every single Friday on the official network of the original Bills Mafia. Okay. Yes, and I am Justice General Radford. I am the host of Justice for All. That drops every single Tuesday at 9. And we are back with First Round by. This is your favorite Friday show, so you already know what's going on. Thank you for everybody that is tuning in. Please make sure you guys hit that like button to show us that you love us. You know what I mean? But here we are, of course. I mean, the major news that just dropped. What was that? Yesterday? Last night? Was that last night?
Yeah, definitely. Jarvis Landry signing with the Saints, right?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, because we all care about what garbage Jarvis is. He's not garbage. I just think he's extremely overrated. But the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, he's aight. Exactly. He's aight.
No, the real news is Kendrick Lamar's album was mid.
I didn't listen to it yet, but it kind of sounded To Pimp a Butterfly-ish to me, and I didn't like that because I didn't like To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah,
so I was like,
I had to float it around yesterday, and I swear this is a football show, but I had to float around last night. I was like, man, Kendrick, I think I might be ready to say J. Cole is better. I think it might be.
Been saying that.
I know that, and Kendrick's been gone for a while. But this album came out. This kind of had a Donda feel to me, right? Where I was so hyped up for it, and it came out, and I was kind of like,
see, I didn't think Donda was that bad. Well, I got to listen to this one. The title doesn't get me. It's like I'm not running to Mr. Morale and the Steppers, whatever it's called.
And when I talk about Donda, I'm just like, the problem is the discography and what he's done before.
It's so incredible.
Yeah. So when you're comparing it to that, it's like Donda, where that comes out and you're like, Kanye, what the hell are you doing? What the hell is this shit? I mean, I don't expect old Kanye. Like when I listen to Drake, I don't expect Drake from headlines, but I'm like,
take care, Drake. Oh my God, Drake. Yeah. You ain't never getting that Drake again.
Never. But yeah, this is a football show. Obviously, the NFL schedule came out, man.
Yes, the NFL schedule has dropped. but you got hip hop fans. What you want us to do? So. But yes, the NFL schedule dropped, and my sources were correct. I feel like an actual like journalist.
There you
now.
go.
You know what I mean? Like I got a source. Exactly. Like I got a source and stuff. But so that was pretty cool. And they were correct. I don't know if you have it pulled up because I certainly don't. So if you want to run us through the schedule, we can do that. Of course, we might as well start with what everybody knows, right? The major games, at least. Monday night football. I'm sorry, not Monday night. Thursday night football to start the season, ladies and gentlemen. The Buffalo Bills, ladies and gentlemen, are playing the first game of the NFL season because they are Super Bowl favorites.
Dude,
I'm 27 years old. That has never, I don't know if that happened back for you guys. It was like 40 and up. Maybe you guys saw it before, and maybe this is like nostalgic for you. This is brand new to me. Okay. I don't even know how to feel. Like, this is nuts. Like, what do you think about the Buffalo Bills starting the season playing the Los Angeles Rams?
So it's crazy because I probably, even if I look back, I don't even know if during the Super Bowl years the Bills ever kicked off the season. Usually they go really big market team versus big market team and try to get the most viewers in. But this year they decided that they were going to go with, well, we're going to take the team that we think is going to be the Super Bowl favorite and put them against the team who was in the Super Bowl last year. And, obviously we can give our takes on what we think this game might be like. But this is crazy. I mean, in my lifetime, if you would have asked me when we drafted Josh Allen, that in like what, 5 years, you're going to be, let's see, how many years has it been? It's 5 years now, right? So it's like,
oh yeah, he's coming to his 5th season.
Yeah. So
wow, in half a decade already.
In 5 years, the Buffalo Bills are going to be kicking off the season against the Super Bowl champs because it is the NFL giving respect to the Buffalo Bills and what should have been. And if you remember and you've been following the show on all the different platforms that we've been on, this was one that I called. And we all kind of called it last year. As we were like, yeah, Bills Rams. And now it feels like this year it could be Bills Rams. And last year it should have been Bills Rams. And now we get it week 1. And dude, I'm so excited, dude.
But hold on, Jake. I gotta ask you, bro.
Go ahead.
Because here's the thing. The Buffalo Bills had the 25th pick in the NFL draft, right?
Yes, they did.
Not the 28th. Not the 30th. Okay.
No.
They had the 25th pick, which in layman's terms mean they were the 3rd best team in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At least they finished in 3rd place.
Yeah.
Okay. Or even 4th place relatively, whatever you want to call it. 3rd place realistically, but you could switch it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's interesting is there was a team that beat us, went to the AFC Championship. And there was a team that beat them and went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And the schedule makers were like, yeah, none of that matters. This team is clearly the best team here, right? Why do you feel like the schedule makers feel like the Bills have to hop over 2 other teams? Because, like, why is it so far and away that the Bills are better than the Bengals and the Chiefs?
Because it's all about optics. All about optics. When you look at it, the best postseason game that was played last year was the Buffalo Bills letting it slip through their fingers. And the Buffalo Bills weren't going to go in there and just take it easy on the Bengals and get shellacked in the second half. That wouldn't have happened. And the schedule makers look at that, and then they look at what the teams did in the offseason, and they look at what those other teams that were ahead of us did in the offseason. And they went, yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills are the better team here. And, if we want to showcase, hey, if for some reason there's somebody watching that's never watched an NFL game before, what game are we going to put on to start out the season that's going to make them go, I got to keep watching more? It's probably the best team in the NFC and the best team in the AFC numbers and just basically roster-wise. And we let them go at it. Basically the what should have been last year. And it's crazy. And I know we glossed over the preseason because nobody cares about that. But it's like when you look at all these games, and we'll get into it, but I'm going to throw this little nugget out there, and you got to tell me what you think. The Buffalo Bills are not underdogs for a single game on their schedule this year.
I didn't even know that.
They are favorited in every game this year.
Well, that just shows me that the rest of the country have finally caught up to where me and you, Nostradamus, right?
Yeah.
Where we have been for like the last year and a half, right? We're like, oh, if Josh Allen is like this, we should be wiping the floor with any team to step on the field.
Yeah.
Like, we have the number one defense. And I mean, of course, that is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that, right? Mm-hmm. When you have the number one defense and people are like, yeah, but they're constantly in that top 3, top 5, top 1 range, right? That just goes to speak about who's running the defense, right? If you can consistently sit here and tell me that the talent is not number one defense level, then I have to say, well, something's working, right? Like something's going right? And you say, oh yeah, but you played bum quarterbacks. But we didn't play bum quarterbacks the last 4 or 5 years. Okay, so stop it, all right? Because they've been a good defense, Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier's entire time here. So with the exception of the beginning of last year.
Yeah, man, and like you're hitting on it. Even when the Bills were on a low, which I believe would have been 2 years ago at that point, the defense wasn't really doing what we thought it was going to be when we brought in Mario Addison. Overall, they were still
before McDermott got here.
No, with Mario Addison.
I'm thinking of Mario Williams.
Yeah, we brought Mario Addison in, and we're like, okay, we brought him and Quentin Jefferson, Murphy. And like we brought those guys in. And even then, overall wise, the secondary carried that team to being an overall top 10 defense. So even on the low, on a low year, they were still in the top 10. So, dude, this defense, look, Von Miller, it's still it is just beautiful to say.
Elam.
I mean, Kaiir Elam doesn't do it for me like Von Miller, but still, I'm happy.
The thing about it is, I understand. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm speaking to is relative to last year's defense, right? Where we had the mantle of the number one defense, right? So now you go get top 10 pass rusher in the NFL, probably top 10 pass rusher off.
Bona fide Hall of Famer, dude.
First ballot right?
Hall of Famer.
You add him to your roster. Right, and then you go get a freakishly athletic kid with crazy speed, crazy size, crazy strength,
great work ethic,
crazy potential with this defense that we've already said has been able to make gourmet chef meals with what you guys call not number one defense talent, right? And then you add a crazy freak athlete to that secondary that's already been number one without a top 5 cornerback in the league. You stayed the number one defense, right? So now you put him next to a Dane Jackson who held his own as the CB2 last year, back into last year, right? And then not only that, but when Tre'Davious White does come back, you have space to let him ease his way back in, so that he doesn't immediately have crazy pressure on him, because he doesn't have to come back and be the guy, right? Now you have that crazy athlete that's able to give him a little bit of cushion, right? Dane Jackson, give him a little bit of cushion, right? Teron Johnson, be able to give him a little bit, So that component, I feel like Kaiir Elam is very valuable, because people always tell me, I wasn't necessarily gung ho on getting a corner in the first round, because I was confident in our secondary either way you sliced it, right?
Yeah.
But if you add Kaiir Elam, I'm not going to sit here and complain, right? You're
not going to be mad about it.
Absolutely amazing. Exactly. Tim Settle, I think, is going to be the most underrated signing that we have this year. I'm not going to lie. I think that is the dark horse, right? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name.
Khalil Shakir.
Khalil Shakir, thank you. Khalil Shakir, Kaiir Elam and Khalil Shakir, said that 5 times fast, right? Khalil Shakir, I think he's going to be the most underrated draft pick. And I think, that is really tough because Khalil Shakir is, and I promise, guys, we're going to get to the schedule. But
we
Khalil
talked
Shakir,
about the Rams game.
Yeah, and listen, man, I ain't done a podcast in like a week, and I do 3 a week usually. So y'all gonna have to excuse me, okay?
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Exactly, right. So Khalil Shakir, I don't even think that's gonna be the most underrated draft pick because I think everybody realizes how unbelievable that value is in the 5th round. Right? Yeah. I think Christian Benford is going to be the most underrated draft. That boy be around the ball, ladies and gentlemen. He had 14 interceptions in his college career. Mm-hmm. That boy is all over the place. He has great ball skills. He is not afraid to get physical. Like Christian Benford is really that boy. And y'all going to see. Okay. I bet you he'll play that what's his name? Siran Neal. I bet you he play that Siran Neal role, and he might take his spot. I like Siran Neal. I like him on special teams.
Just extended Siran Neal.
Yeah, I like him on special teams. Yeah. You know, I don't necessarily like him on the field. If you can have a guy like Christian Benford come and take that spot on the field to do that role, you know, and keep Siran Neal at where he's best at, then you're perfectly fine with that, right? So I think he's going to be the most underrated draft pick, but Tim Settle is going to be the most underrated signing. He's going to be the guy that absolutely goes crazy this year, and people are going to be like, "Oh wow, like I didn't even know this guy was," you know what I'm saying? And so I'm excited. And so okay, I said that was a really, really long way to essentially say Von Miller being on this defense, like you said, is absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
that makes this defensive line already 2 to 3 times better than it was last year, just with him alone, right?
Yeah,
and then you stack it up with that big boy beef right there in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Tim Settle, Daquan Jones.
Dude, you were bringing up Tim Settle, and I was gonna say, look, Daquan Jones,
Austin,
man,
and, Jordan Phillips too.
Yeah, Jordan Phillips too, bringing those guys back. Look, I think
Boogie Basham playing the inside.
Yeah, and apparently they've been, you know,
Ed Oliver. Why do I always forget Ed Oliver?
Dude, this defensive line is going to be absolutely nasty this year, dude. And I love Daquan Jones was one of my favorite pickups that we did this year, just because I think it's going to help Tremaine Edmonds. And I know everybody likes, some people like to take shit on Tremaine Edmonds every time they can, but what I'm going to say here is Daquan Jones might be the savior that Tremaine Edmonds has needed, because I've been saying it for basically 2 years now. I don't care who it is. Just give me a big fat dude to play one tech and clog up 2 lanes. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I need him to do. Make Tremaine Edmonds' job a little bit easier. And I think that's going to be an underrated signing, because I think of the impact it's going to have across the whole D-line and behind them too with Tremaine Edmonds. So I like that signing, especially, you know, we covered the 2nd round of the draft or in the 3rd round. We did, and then we were unceremoniously, the stream ended before we got to talk about it. But no, dude, I really like the draft, and
so crazy.
Yeah, I even like the addition of just Matt Araiza, dude. Like, but the fact that we're a team that in the last 2 years has punted the lowest percentage in the entire league in the last 2 years, and we went out and got a dude named the Punt God, and he's only probably going to see the field maybe once a game, maybe twice, unless we're, you know, it's a real bad game. Like, I loved this draft, and I really love this schedule. Just to talk about Tre'Davious White, I really heard that, you know, of course, we've all kind of thought that it's probably a year recovery. We know how the Bills kind of treat injuries. You know, they're not going to have somebody come back until they're as close to 100% as they possibly can be. And I think with what they were able to roll out last year, when you add a guy like Kaiir Elam and with a guy like Dane Jackson, who was able to hold down that role last year when he's thrown in there, is I wouldn't be surprised if Tre'Davious White gets thrown on the PUP list at the beginning of the season.
He probably will.
Where he's out 6 weeks regardless, and then he's back. And that just so happens. Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that, because that just so happens to be 6 weeks, which means 6 games he's out Week 7 is our bye week. So it
perfect.
matches perfectly. He would have 7 weeks. He's back at the end of October, which would basically be 11 months since his injury. And then you got Kaiir Elam, who has the potential to be a great corner in this league, being the number 2 to a great corner in the league, a top 5 corner who just got name dropped by Tyreek Hill as being one of the corners that he respected going against all the time and one of the toughest to go against. And God, man, I am so excited for this defense. If you couldn't tell, me and Justice, we love the offense, but the defense too gets us going, man. It's great, man. I love it. And we can break down more of the schedule, but the Bills, man, I love the schedule, man. We have the most time. I think like when they did some calculation for the rest days that we have,
we're plus 13.
Yeah, we're like plus 13, which is number 1, which means we're not like when it comes to disadvantages, like, oh, you lose a day because you play on Monday night or whatever. The Bills, basically, their schedule is just kind of like, here you go. Like it's almost perfect for them.
I think that to start the season Thursday and then that Monday night football in week 2 versus the Titans, I think that's a big part of it because I think it's like 3-4 days or something like that extra.
What do you think about that game, Justice? I want to the Titans game. Man.
Oh, I want Derrick Henry to have 22 yards rushing on 27 attempts, and I want Tannehill to. I want to embarrass him. I want them to put that rookie in.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I want Tannehill bench for Malik Willis.
For real. I want to see what Malik Willis could. I would rather him throw for like 207 and a touchdown and like 2 picks rather than see Tannehill. Yeah, I want to embarrass them. I really do because the first year we played them, they really screwed everything up with COVID. They couldn't get a negative
Titans,
COVID test, and they really damn near sabotaged us because even that night they didn't have enough players, or they had like more positive COVID tests or whatever. They let them play anyway. So technically, that game was supposed to be forfeited, right? But no, they let them play because the NFL wants his money.
Of course.
And then last year, I mean, look, bro, they won the game. Sure,
Josh Allen slipped on a banana peel.
No, F that. Let's talk about Derrick Henry whenever he ran the ball because he had 2 good runs. Both of them were hold city. It was hold central, right? You could spot 3 to 4 holds on both plays, respectively. And then those were his only 2 big runs that accumulated his high, total yardage. But other than that, he really didn't have a good day. And
what was the narrative coming out of that, Justice? It was Derrick Henry. The Bills' rush defense is terrible. It's like, dude, most of those and I swear it happened to us almost every game where the narrative was coming out that our rush defense was terrible, which don't get me wrong. In some points it was not good. But most of the time when they'd be like, look at all these numbers that were put up on the Bills, it's like, if you go and look at the breakdown, like most of those yards came from like 2 runs that got broken off, man. Like it's
the Patriots game, that was a good example of that because the weather game or whatever, the Bills really shut down the Patriots run, if we're being honest, right? But there was the one where they did the toss play. It was a great play. Like, honestly, I can't even. It was great play, great play. I mean, execution. They blocked. They created the hole, and he just ran through it. Hyde over pursued it, and he, it was a great play. I can't be mad at it. And then they did the exact same play on like a 2-point conversion or a touchdown later in the game, something like that. And then, but again, in that play, A, it was 45-degree winds, and B, Stephon Diggs never drops that pass ever again in his life in the end zone. So, I mean, you could have it, but look, again, we know what the Patriots are, right? And we know what the Bills are.
I mean, just look what happened in the fucking playoffs. That's
exactly.
Sorry, I said the F word.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You got to announce it, Jake. You got to just
but I just want to acknowledge that I made a mistake and used the F word.
No,
anyway,
it didn't happen.
it didn't happen. But no, dude. So just to backtrack before the Titans game, the Rams game again, just talk about it. how do you think this game goes, man? Because we talked about the importance of the game, but I'm not entirely sure that the Buffalo Bills win this one.
Ooh, you're not?
So I've always talked about it. I think that especially week one, both of these teams, they both have their, new additions or whatever. But I just don't know exactly. I think that it's not going to be as easy as a lot of people think. Like, I know a lot of people are excited. Oh, we're playing the Rams, but a lot of Bills Mafia is probably just in that headspace of, well, yeah, we're going to go in there. We're going to beat them because we should. The Rams are still a good team, man. They're still a really damn good team.
Absolutely.
And we're bringing in additions too that we're going to have to get acclimated to, especially Von Miller on our defensive line, man. And I understand he's a pro. He's probably going to, get a hold of the system way easier than other people would. But I'm not sure. I don't think that that's a cakewalk of a game. It could be. It's one of those games where, after last year, we all kind of thought it was going to be a cakewalk to go through the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
fair point.
It didn't. In week one, the Bills didn't really have it going, and we have a new OC this year. And it's kind of, there's a bunch of things that make you go, well, it might not be firing on all cylinders week one, so
the T now,
but it could.
I'll take your point, and I'll also tell you this. This might be a controversial statement, but okay. I believe it to be true. Okay. I think that Brian Daboll almost not unfairly, okay, but he got the extreme benefit of having the best quarterback on the planet on his offense, right? If you would have put Mitchell Trubisky in Brian Daboll's offense last year, I don't know if we win 8 games. I don't know. I don't know if we win 6 games. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. I don't think Brian Daboll's offense was that good. I think Josh Allen is that damn good.
I think
hold on. Just real quick. So the reason I say that is because Ken Dorsey is new. Yes. And I acknowledge that. But what you also have to acknowledge is that Joe Brady and Shula are both there on that offense with him, helping him. These are 3 offensive coordinator level coaches on the same offensive coordination team, right? You got 3-headed brain monster of 3 basically geniuses who are going to be the face of the NFL. You remember the Washington Commanders old photo where it was like McVay and Kyle Shanahan and Zach Taylor? I think this is that. I truly believe that. So I think that they'll have the offense a lot more creative. I think it'll look different. And I think the best quarterback on the planet will be able to shine more in this offense than it would have in let's say early, in the Pitt game last year, where Josh Allen didn't play horrible. His offensive line was just dog shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm sorry, you go ahead and finish.
Well, I all I wanted to do was add on to why I wouldn't necessarily call that a hot take. You saying that if Mitch Trubisky was in there, they probably only win 6 to 8 games, because it's not a question that the first half of the season, hell, all the way up to the Tampa Bay game, this team was so inconsistent and seemed that they didn't have an identity on offense that, I wouldn't be surprised if you put a quarterback in there, lesser, that is Mitchell Trubisky, that they don't pull some of those games out, because he doesn't have that otherworldly talent that Josh Allen has been developing over these last few years that's putting him in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. I think that that's what helped us win more games while we were struggling to find out what the identity of the team was. So I don't necessarily think that that's a hot take. I think, it could have been an 8-win team last year with Mitch Trubisky, the way that the first 2/3 of the season went.
Yeah.
So I 100% think that. I think that this offense is they probably know what their identity is going to be, hopefully. I really hope that McDermott, especially when you heard all the stuff Daboll and McDermott, they weren't exactly seeing eye to eye when it came to how to run the offense. And then you see the Bill Belichick text messages to other coaches. And then he's also talking about that Brian Daboll was having issues with Sean McDermott. You're like, okay, obviously that there was a philosophy difference there, right, between those guys. So I would say that Sean McDermott is probably they're still strict because obviously it's a new offensive coordinator, so you still want to make sure they're getting done what they need to get done. But if they're taking what worked at the end of last season, which felt like a perfect blend between having an effective run game and an absolutely dangerous pass game, if they're taking that with three great offensive minds with Joe Brady, who was a great coach in college with LSU, and then you have Mike Shula, who has been an offensive coordinator in the league before, and then you have Ken Dorsey, who has been on some great offensive staffs. Like I think truly that this team probably has a better chance of firing on all cylinders week 1 than they probably did last year when there was kind of a bashing of philosophies when it came to it. Right. But the Rams game, is it a W or an L, Justice?
See, now that's the thing, Jake. I'm full of them today.
I know we're going 17-0, baby.
No, see now.
No, I know.
Yes, but
yeah,
no, I don't think Matt Stafford is as good as we thought he was. All right, and okay, and I know how that sounds. All right, because I was the guy up here talking about, oh my God, with the Rams, Matt Stafford's gonna be MVP, right? Yeah. And I was the guy saying that last year, and I acknowledged that, okay, and I thought it was true. And I mean, he won the Super Bowl, so it was true to a degree, right? But with that roster, with that team, that Super Bowl should have came a lot easier than it did. I'm just gonna be real about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they got themselves into some situations, and they got themselves into those situations a lot of times because Matt Stafford didn't know what the hell he was. I mean, I don't want to say he didn't know what he was doing, but he just didn't perform great. Okay, I'll just make it simple. He didn't perform well. Okay, so when I look at that, I'd say he's not as good as Josh Allen. It's not even close, really.
Yeah.
He's good. He has talent. He can make it happen, but
he's older too. Like he's kind of coming out of his prime.
I think OBJ is a lot better than Allen Robinson. I do. Allen Robinson is really good. Don't get me wrong, but OBJ is a superstar. If I'm being completely honest, I think he's a top 10 wide receiver still. I mean, obviously, he has to, heal up after a torn ACL. But when you look at the first half of that, OBJ was going crazy. Yeah. And then he tore his ACL, and they didn't know what the hell to do. Cooper Kupp literally had to pull them out the mud, right? So, I mean, Cooper Kupp, I expect him to do his damage. Allen Robinson probably would too, but I mean, it's not like they're going to be going down the field all crazy. Like, we got the best safety tandem in the league, and they've been the best year after year for a reason, right? Not only that, but now we have a stout defensive line all across the board that can put more pressure on these guys, right? So if you leave in extra blockers, now you have less route runners to go out to try to get open versus this stout secondary. Right. And if you don't leave in extra blockers, now we have the defensive line to make you pay for it. And I mean, the Rams defense isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they also weren't the number one defense. And they weren't the number one defense. They got better. I mean, they got Bobby Wagner, but I mean, he's older too.
They were number 2, weren't they? The Rams
were they?
Yeah, I think they were number 2.
Not feel stupid, but I mean, they weren't the number one defense, so that was technically a true statement.
Yeah, you didn't say anything wrong there,
right? And I mean, again, they lost OBJ, and not only that, but they played in it wasn't garbage last year. It was garbage last year to a degree, but they played in the NFC. The NFC West wasn't that good. Seahawks weren't good at all as we thought they were going to be. San Francisco was pretty good, and they shouldn't have been even as close to as good as the Rams were, but they let them stick around. The Cardinals turned out to be frauds.
Yeah, the Cardinals were frauds. They were basically like the Steelers a couple of years ago. If you remember, they basically went on like an 11-0 run, and then
11-0.
Yeah, and then they lost to Washington, and then we absolutely they hung in there with us, and then in the third quarter we absolutely smacked them. And then it was all downhill from there. The Cardinals did the same exact thing. And dude, the 49ers last year, I mean, I still got to give it to them, man. They made it all the way to the conference championship. Like,
because Kyle Shanahan's a genius.
Yeah, he is. And honestly, you know, if all the reports are to be believed, they probably should keep Jimmy Garoppolo there because they are not all too happy with Trey Lance.
I don't care. Get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and pay Deebo Samuel. Pay him whatever he wants.
Yeah, sure, do that.
Get rid of that contract and pay that man whatever the hell he wants.
Just to
if you have a down year because you don't believe in Trey Lance or whatever, or he's not as good as you thought, I don't care. Have a down year, but don't risk your future, which is Deebo Samuel, because you don't think you're going to be that good if Trey Lance is playing. So you get rid of your prime asset that's a top 5 player, and maybe not a top 5 receiver, but he's damn sure a top 5 player in this league.
Sure.
And then you give that away because you want to acquiesce to this slightly above average court. No, hell no. Yeah. Get rid of Jimmy G's contract, pay Deebo Samuel. I don't really care how bad, Trey Lance might be. It's Kyle Shanahan, bro. He'll make it happen. I'm telling you, bro. Don't do it.
Yeah, he'll make something work. And just one last thing on the Rams is, that was Matt Stafford's first time in the Sean McVay system. I understand he's a pro, and you got to be like, well, of course, but that's, he was in Detroit for the longest time. He comes in, he adapts more to a system that's friendly to the quarterback, and he doesn't have to take as much risk. But when he does, he's doing it usually with leads, and he's not exactly picking the right times to do it. So I think he'll still improve just because he's a good quarterback. Definitely better than most you can look at. Matt Stafford's definitely a very above average quarterback. And I would say that the Rams are still going to be a tough out. But if you were to ask me if I was going to put money on it, I definitely have more faith in the Bills in this game.
I wouldn't put money on this game, but
I wouldn't because I probably lose it, but
I'm not like super duper uber duper confident. Like, I think the Bills can and should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams put it. They're a great team. They just won the Super Bowl. So like, my only thing is Matt Stafford isn't really in the same ballpark as Josh Allen.
No,
to be completely honest. And I think that gap there is the game. That's the ball game, because I don't think the Rams have anything else of the that is just so much better than the Bills, where 100%. It's just like they'll be able to dominate us in any way. So
that's that. And again, you've done shows with me. I always say it always comes down to the person that's under center, especially when you got a team that they match up pretty well against each other. There's no position that you look at the Rams, except maybe defensive tackle, even though I think Ed Oliver's still a really good defensive tackle. He's not Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so,
not fair.
Yeah. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. So when I look at that, I'm like, yeah, I think it all just comes down to who's going to make more plays under center. And I think the Bills, their offense, basically also with their weapons and stuff they're going to have too, they're going to have a little bit more continuity than the Rams are going to have, especially losing Robert Woods and OBJ. So I think basically they're going to have Cooper Kupp and a couple of new guys, and they're going to see, what's going on. And I think the Bills, they're going to have Gabe Davis. They're going to have Stephon Diggs. They're going to have, I guess you can just say Jamison Crowder is going to be new, but, I don't think Jamison Crowder.
Shakir, Devin Singletary,
yeah.
Dawson Knox, OJ Howard, James Cook. Oh my God. Oh
dude,
my God.
It's nuts. And I'm just thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I think the Bills, especially with a slot receiver, that's not as important of having a new guy in that position as it is having a guy out wide, like Allen Robinson being out wide, and a dude that I'm blanking on, unless they still have Van Jefferson out there.
They got rid of Robert Woods.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the Rams got a little bit more continuity issues than the Bills have that they're going to have to.
Receiver is he getting locked down by Teron Johnson? So
Yeah, well, their slot receiver is Cooper Kupp, so I don't know if
Well, then
gonna...
I mean, you only have one receiver on the outside. Then
Yeah,
I mean, Cooper Kupp, and you could double team him if he's the only one on the
yeah,
outside.
exactly. So yeah, the Rams game, I think that's the one everybody's really looking forward to right now. Obviously, the rest of the schedule, people are just looking at games and going like, all right, which one am I booking to go to? But like the Rams game is the big one we're all looking at, where we're like, that's our only West Coast game of the year. We're doing it week 1.
Real quick,
Like,
real
what's
quick,
up?
real quick. I gotta ask you a question.
Sure.
Does it, knowing Tre'Davious White is not going to be able to start the season,
Mhm.
does it make you somewhat comfortable that it would be Teron Johnson's responsibility to check Cooper Kupp rather than Dane Jackson or a rookie?
Yes, 100%. Because if Taron Johnson being one of the best, and this is not a thing I would have said a couple of years ago, Taron Johnson being one of, if not the best slot corner in the league right now, and he's being paid as such. I expect him to be able to. Obviously, Cooper Kupp is on a different level,
Right.
but I would much rather have a guy like Teron Johnson who knows what to do. He's in his role. He's not starting out. He's been here for what now, like 4 years? So maybe even
Teron
longer.
Johnson got drafted with Harrison Phillips, and that was Tremaine Edmonds and Josh Allen. That was their draft.
Yeah. So this will be his 5th year.
Mhm.
He's pretty comfortable in the role that he's in now. So I would much rather have him against Cooper Kupp in the slot than maybe a new guy. So that's why I also didn't like when people were saying like, oh, do we move Teron Johnson outside? I'm like, no, you do not do that. He is a slot corner. That is what he does. Why would you, to his detriment, put him on the outside? Just leave players where their best position is. So I think that, having him against the one guy in continuity that the Rams still have, I love that way more than other things. But, we talked about the Titans game too. I think having that extra rest, we get them on Monday night. So we get plenty more days to prepare for them finally and get revenge for the COVID blowout 2 years ago. Last year, the holds, and then Josh Allen slipping on the banana peel. It's about time that the Titans are, going to get
Humbled.
it's about time they get what they deserve. So, I think that we're going to get them week 3. This is a game that I am going to.
I'm going to it too.
Well, no.
Is it home?
No, this one is the
Miami. At Miami.
Yeah, at Miami.
Yeah, I'm not going to that.
Yeah. I don't want to go to it either because I hate being in hostile territory. Last time I went to a game here in Florida was Jacksonville, and we all know
I wouldn't mind. I just can't afford it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, dude. It's ridiculous. Miami Dolphins. What are you thinking going into this game, man? I know everybody's hyping up the Dolphins. Dolphins fans, they're all happy again. This is another thing where I just go, dude, who's under center? And just also it's not like their defense has mightily improved. It's basically the same defense that hasn't been able to stop Josh Allen for the last 3 years. So like, I don't know why everybody, what is Josh Allen just going to crap the bed and they're just Tua's going to squeak out like 2 touchdowns and they're going to win? I don't think so.
I really can't remember where there was a situation where a team really loaded up around a garbage quarterback. I really can't, where they were like, oh no, this guy, we think he's the guy. We're going to go all in. And
yeah,
he's just not that good. Like, I mean, Tua's decent. He's average. I think he might be he might be the Dalton line. He's in that area, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, but again, it's Josh freaking Allen, bro. Look, Miami might be better than last year's Miami. If if the AFC West didn't go absolutely bonkers, this Miami team might have made the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. They're not making it this year because AFC West went crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they really just got the end of the stick because they did all this for no reason. And maybe they built this whole roster up because they think they're going to get their quarterback, and then they'll have a good roster to bring in a quarterback, kind of like the Broncos, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as their roster is presently
Constructed,
constructed. Exactly. Thank you. No, I mean, listen, Josh Allen is their father. He is to the Dolphins what Tom Brady was to us in the 2010s. I mean, just simply what it is.
Yeah, and the Dolphins so badly want it to be how they were with the Patriots, where they split every year, but it's not that. It's Josh Allen
7-1.
Yeah,
only one was when Clay.
I know that Charles Clay. Yeah, man, I can see it. I can replay it like a movie in my head.
Josh Allen breaks 17 tackles just for his tight end.
I'm sitting there going, first of all, Josh Allen, what a rocket arm! He just gets that. That's like his first Patrick Mahomes type play, right? Where he's just running around, scrambling all around, and nobody can get him, and then he just finds Charles Clay wide open and rockets it while he's like falling down, and then Charles Clay just.
Full. Oh my god,
it was so bad. But yeah, the Dolphins, dude. I think they're gonna be okay. I mean, the last couple of years they've been okay, but I think they're loading up, but I don't think anything that they did really helps them improve unless Tua takes that next step. And and that's a big if Tua takes because I don't know. I just think Tua. The weapons that they have put around him, he's not built to take advantage of them.
Right.
But that's
did you see the video?
Yeah. Which one? I mean, there's plenty of them.
So remember when I said if Tua Tagovailoa said hike, the ball was snapped to him. He took a 3-step drop and threw it as far down the field as he could, it would be underthrown to Tyreek Hill.
That's exactly.
They put out a video and they were proud of it. They were like, Tua with the rocket. Like, where?
Yeah. Dude, PF was like Tua with a rocket to Cheetah. I'm like where?
Listen, if you guys didn't see the video, Tyreek Hill literally running down the field, looked back, turned, did a full 180, caught the ball, and then spun around and had the biggest disappointed look on his face. Like he was like, oh my God.
I don't know who said it. It might have been you, but somebody said he fielded that like a punt.
That was funny.
Dude, I saw that and I'm just like, that's the problem with that is that ball in live action is picked off because
100%.
Tua's not putting it out in front of Tyreek Hill in stride. And like that was like what 10-15 yards, maybe even 20-30. I'm not sure. The ball was in the air for quite a bit, but still, even then, if Tua can't put it past Tyreek Hill, who then has to turn and stop, and people are like, oh well, Tua's like, I'm like, Tua's in a t-shirt and a bucket hat and he can't throw the ball that far. What's he gonna do in pads, dude? Like I don't know, man. The Dolphins, I think they're going to be okay. They're going to be a tough out team this year for a lot of teams, but not the Buffalo Bills. I think that's a dub.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. And then week 4, I like this one. The game that was rumored, with all the fake rumors to be on Thanksgiving, but it's not. The Baltimore Ravens playing in Baltimore. I don't know, man. I think that this is just, especially with them, losing any receivers that they did have, it's basically just like, hey, we're going to try to run the ball on you. And the Bills are going to be like, yeah, we know. Exactly. So I don't know about this one. I feel very confident going to Baltimore in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I'm rooting for Lamar. I really am, just because I don't like the way people be talking about him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, I don't want to sound like cocky and say it's not fair, but I mean,
they're not doing them no favors.
Yeah, exactly. Like, bro, like, you don't even have to pay the quarterback money yet. Yeah. And you still can't get the roster right around him. Like, what do you want him to do?
If you're Lamar, do you re-sign with the Ravens after this year?
That's a good question. They're gonna franchise tag him.
Yeah. Probably
tag him again. But then after that, he holds all the chips, kind of in the same way Kirk Cousins did. So now
going to Miami.
Whatever.
He could. Who knows? They might blow everything up by then.
Yeah, I was about to say it's gonna be a task for Miami to keep up the weapons that they have for 2 years and wait to see if Lamar was available. And I think they'll make a bad decision and get like Andy Dalton or something stupid in the meantime.
You think Andy Dalton's still in the league playing in 3 years?
No, because I think Tua will prove that he's garbage this year, and I think he'll get benched. And then whoever's his backup, I can't remember. Is it Teddy
Bridgewater?
I think he's gonna be not great, just like Jacoby Brissett wasn't. And then next year they're gonna be like, okay, we're making a splash signing. We're signing Taysom Hill, and they're gonna get Taysom Hill to come in, and he's gonna be garbage. And then they're gonna have to blow everything up. Then they might get Lamar Jackson, but
then you get old Lamar who might not be as fast anymore. You know,
and the roster's not the same.
So Baltimore, I'd chalk this up as a dub for the Bills. They've kind of known how to handle Baltimore the last couple of times they've played them too. Like they kind of have a handle of how they're playing, and now Baltimore
they made the blueprint to beat Baltimore.
Yeah, they did, and that's what the Titans said a couple of years ago in the playoffs. They said, "Yeah, we looked at what the Bills did, and then we used that game plan, and that's how they beat Baltimore."
If y'all remember, Baltimore was running through everybody.
They were
disgustingly scary to see Baltimore on your schedule. Like I was mad. I was like,
"Yeah."
Whew.
But yeah, man, Baltimore when they got their quarterback tweeting WTF on draft night, you know they got some stuff to do there. They got to get him a good receiver, man. I mean, I thought they were going to be in the AJ Brown sweepstakes. I thought maybe they'd be in the Debo sweepstakes, but no, they just sent Hollywood Brown away and then didn't really do anything. So Ravens, I'd call that a dub. Week 5, a game I will be going to at Highmark Stadium. Pittsburgh Steelers, the return of Money Mitchell Trubisky and Levi 13 Seconds Wallace. So I'm sorry. I had to throw him in. He's not on the team anymore, but still, it's a return of a couple of guys. Pittsburgh, I don't know kind of what team they're going to be this year. Is Kenny Pickett in by week 5? Who really knows? But Pittsburgh,
I think Mitch is going to be pretty decent.
I hope so. Again, I'm on record as saying I think that Mitch Trubisky can be their franchise quarterback.
I agree. Yeah.
But you have the team that the Steelers had last year with Mitch Trubisky there, not the corpse of Ben Roethlisberger. Like, they're a much better team, and they're not that easy of an out in the first round against the Chiefs. I mean, if you think back to that game, the Steelers held the Chiefs down for like 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And then finally it was like, we can't do it anymore. Like, because the offense couldn't do anything. So I think the Steelers, they're not going to be an easy out. They never are. Like when they got Mike Tomlin, like their defense is going to be good. I think that the Bills can beat them because, you know, the last 2 years before that, we beat them to basically secure our spots in the playoffs. And then last year, you know, we get them week 1 and they catch us off guard. I think week 5, I mean, I would chalk this up as a dub. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, they don't have Melvin Ingram anymore. And Melvin Ingram was like the boogeyman to Buffalo Bills last year. It wasn't even TJ Watt. It was Melvin Ingram.
Daryl Williams held down TJ Watt, man.
Yeah, he did for the most part. I mean, he did have the one strip sack.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was one good play. And I'm not gonna hate on the play. But if that was the only play that they had, then it would have been a non-factor. But because Melvin Ingram was just doing whatever the hell he wanted to for the game previous to that, it made it a lot worse. But they don't have him anymore. And, I mean, not only that, but our offensive line is a lot more stable now.
Oh yeah.
Than what it was before, and they got Levi Wallace. So he's going to get burnt.
Dude, and that's funny too, because I brought that up because we were talking about what game we wanted to go to, and I was talking to my older brother Adam, and when I brought it up, he was like, I want Josh to just target Levi on
Gabe Davis is going to make Levi Wallace look nasty.
Yeah, I think 100% that's what's going to happen is they're going to focus a little bit too much on Diggs, and Gabe Davis is going one-on-one on Levi Wallace. That's even disgusting. Against Gabe Davis, who's not a burner, like they're going to have Levi Wallace playing 10 yards off, and like Josh Allen's just going to make him pay. And because, of course, especially when you're playing up against a guy like that, where you've seen him in practice, like the last, your whole career, like you've seen him in practice, you know what his weaknesses are. So,
better than the Steelers even know what his weaknesses are.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that game. That's why I want to go to it. Pittsburgh used to be my second team that I used to root for before, when the Bills stunk. So I was like, Pittsburgh, hardworking city, like it. Now, whatever, Pittsburgh.
I was
my
the,
team's good.
Cam Newton Panthers.
Yeah. See, that's the horrible thing, right? When your teams stink, that you start rooting for other teams because you're like, man, I gotta at least root for a good team, man. Like, someone that's gonna make me feel happy when I watch their games. But Pittsburgh, can't wait to go to that game. That's gonna be awesome. Next one, week 6, the rematch again. Kansas City Chiefs.
Honestly, without Tyreek Hill, I don't even really think it's a rivalry anymore.
I'm going to call it a rivalry until we absolutely destroy them, kind of like we did last year in the regular season. Yeah.
But I don't think we'll see them in the playoffs because I don't think that they'll make it that far.
I think that if anything, if one of the other teams decides to really go off in their division and maybe they go second in their division and they're like one of the play-in games or whatever, because they get in like that, as we said with the AFC West, 3 teams could come out of there. So I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, if they're not first in their division, I don't know if we see them in the playoffs. And then, they're going to be like, well, you didn't see the Chiefs in the playoffs. They're your kryptonite. I'm going to be like, well, y'all didn't even get to us. So I think that the Kansas City Chiefs game, it's going to be a good game, man. Still going to be a good game. I know they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but they've still got Travis Kelce, and they're going to find some way to hit us over the middle with a Juju or an MVS or something like that. So I don't think that it's going to be like the barn burner that was the playoff game last year, but it's still going to be a good game. This is one that I would kind of sit on the fence on, like, I don't know. It could go either way. I think the Bills are obviously the superior team. And I would lean more towards the Bills, and it's not just because I'm a Bills fan. It's just when you look at kind of the roster and how it's assembled and all that stuff, I think most people, there's a reason why the Bills are favored and not underdogs in every game this season again, like we brought up. So I think that the Bills are a superior team. And again, it's going to come down to who's going to make more plays under center. And I think Josh Allen's going to have better weapons to do that.
See that, and that's all I was going to say. Like, Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal. Right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's a scrub, because he's not. He is one of the best quarterbacks we have ever seen in the football. He's one of the best to ever touch a football, right? If Josh Allen is God juice, Patrick Mahomes is like low carb God juice, right?
Diet God juice.
See, not even diet, because diet
zero sugar God juice.
Exactly, right? He's like, so he's like low carb, no sugar Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
Not quite as big, strong, or fast, but can pretty much do everything Josh can. I mean, not everything, but for the mostly.
Pretty much have the same arm talent.
Same arm talent. He is close to the same athleticism as far as but look, man, he's a phenomenal passer to football.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what made Patrick Mahomes' stock rise as highly as it did was him launching the ball 58 yards down the field to a wide open Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Was a slant pass to Tyreek Hill, McCall, or whatever, and they just take it 40 yards to the house, right? It was a screen pass to a Travis Kelce, and he just takes it 30, right? Travis Kelce's getting a little older. Still phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's not good or that he's going to slow down. Like, he's going to slow down probably, but exactly. But I mean, with more attention on you, because Juju Smith-Schuster is your number one receiver, bro. Holy crap! Like how far the mighty have fallen. But like, Tyreek Hill was a game changer.
Oh yeah,
Patrick Mahomes is a game changer. Tyreek Hill plus Patrick Mahomes is unfair, okay? And that was a big part of why we couldn't seem to get over that hump, because that's just an unfair tandem. That is a talent in the league that is unlike any other in terms of Tyreek Hill's speed, and then that is a talent that's a top 1% talent in the league in terms of Patrick Mahomes as well, right? And you add those together, and it's not fair. It's like giving Josh Allen Jamar Chase. It's like, what the hell are you? That's nasty. That's not going to be fair for the rest of the league, right? So without Tyreek Hill, I just think Patrick Mahomes is a amazing quarterback, and he doesn't have that all-time great talent in a Tyreek Hill. And when I say all-time great talent, I mean his speed.
Yeah.
Right. That ability. And I don't think that that's going to be able to translate into Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And, we've had our conversations of Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes before. So we kind of know, I think Josh Allen has been able to do more with less in a sense. He wasn't thrown in a situation like Patrick Mahomes was where his stock went crazy because he was able to basically throw to two all-time talents of all time. Josh Allen started off throwing to Kelvin Benjamin and Robert Foster, and you know the people. So it's like,
get out the mud.
Yeah. So I think that it's going to be a little. I was looking up because I wanted to just remind and refresh myself of who they picked up in the draft too to possibly do it. They did pick up Sky Moore, who again, he has that speed, but he was out with a hamstring injury during rookie minicamp, which is no bueno when you want a receiver to be able to take over a role like that. So I 100% think that this game is definitely winnable. I think the Bills stack up really well, and I think if anything, they're going to be pissed off going into this game. They're going to be real pissed off because everything they're going to be seeing, all the promo art is going to be about the 13 seconds and how they blew it last year. And we know this team is really like they will take stuff personally. They will do that, and they will use that, and they will go out there and end your narrative, and they will do that with this. So I think that this is a dub for them. And then we go into the bye week, and then thankfully out of the bye week we get the Green Bay mother-loving Packers.
6-0 going to the bye week, and then you get Green Bay coming out of it. Yeah, this would be scarier to me if Devontae Adams.
Exactly. Who's he throwing to? Sammy Watkins? What is this?
Did they even get a wide receiver?
Yeah, they picked up Sammy. That's it.
No, oh man, that's not.
No, they picked up like a wide receiver. I think in like the second round.
Was it the second round?
Yeah, I think they picked somebody up in the second round. I
got you. I'm gonna look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, look it up first, real quick. The Green Bay Packers, dude, I don't know, man. Like, they've had some additions defensively, but nothing that would make me, scared to play them. Really, when you play Green Bay, it all comes down to what Aaron Rodgers are you getting? Like, what Aaron Rodgers is coming out to play? Because I've seen Aaron Rodgers elevate grocery store cart attendants looking really good. I mean, Marquez Valdes-Scantling got like a $30 million contract after playing with Aaron Rodgers, and he was a practice squad guy. So I'm 100% expecting this to probably be a good game, but I think that the Bills could easily overwhelm the Packers in this game.
So they got Christian Watkins.
Okay.
Out of North Dakota State.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a Jordy Nelson type player. So they might be able to, like, a real, he's kind of a tall guy in the slot.
No, he's not Devontae Adams.
No, well, he's not Devontae. He's not Devontae Adams.
Holy
but
hell. I mean, okay, so here's my thing, and maybe I'm misguided in doing this, right? I look at the value Tyreek Hill has, right? And you trade him away. So
you mean
you
Devontae
must feel
Adams?
like you I'm talking about in general, right?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, you trade him away. So you must feel like Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling can replace the value of a Tyreek Hill. Now, I don't think all three of them combined can replace what Tyreek Hill brought you, right? Devontae Adams, Christian Watkins, whoever the hell else they'll have on their team, without MVS, I don't even know who the other receivers are. Lazard.
I think that I keep saying it. Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah,
but I don't consider him a real threat, so I keep forgetting him. Like he's
healthy, bro.
Exactly. Like he's not even gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like
he'll be there like 5 games.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. I missed you guys too. So but thank you for the love as well. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up as well. Send me that thumbs.
Yeah, man. But, smash that like. What are we doing?
Smash that like, exactly. So you have keep saying Sammy Watkins, but every time I hear Sammy Watkins, it's like like my ear gets broke because he's so fragile that like
my ankle hurts.
So I don't even think he'll be playing. He'll definitely have like a neck injury or something coming off of our bye. So I don't think they will be able to replace the value of a Devontae Adams, and I could see unless they decide to just go run heavy. And
AJ Dillon right up the middle.
Yeah, like unless they decide to go run heavy in this season. I don't mean just versus us. I mean this season, and kind of have Aaron Rodgers play off of that and play action and whatnot. I don't really see a path for them toward the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I don't think they'll really have a chance versus us. And of course, this is me being overly confident, maybe. But I'm just telling y'all what I believe, man. I'm just telling y'all what I think. Okay. I think he's going to be frustrated by our defensive line, and I think he's going to be even more frustrated by our secondary. So
I think he's going to be frustrated with his team because they're going to be, I don't think that their weapons really translate to, oh yeah, we're going to be able to throw it all over the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are going to have one of the best secondaries in the league. They're going to have one of the best defensive lines in the league. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They have one of the best wide receivers in the league. If a wide receiver tandem in the league, let's say that. Their offensive line is definitely way above average.
Honestly, one of the best backfields in the league. I mean, maybe not the greatest, but top 10.
Yeah, I mean, let's just see what James Cook develops into. Like, dude, it could be. If they're using James Cook like Thurman Thomas, and I know a lot of people just saw James Cook, drop a pass today and rookie mini camp, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" But it's
rookie mini camp. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
week 1 when he catches the touchdown pass, I remember
I was about to say, about this. I saw the highlights. That man can catch a football. Okay?
He was like wide receiver 1 out there.
Yeah, exactly. Wide receiver 1 on a lot of football teams now. But no, it's crazy. I think that the Bills are just, again, one of the most solid teams in the NFL. Probably the most solid, just when you go all around position groups. So I think the Green Bay Packers, it's a great matchup. You got the names, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. I think this year's a Josh Allen, MVP tour. So why not, cap it off with a Sunday night football? The night.
That's a great point, Jake. It is an MVP tour. You gotta play Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry. That's a damn good point. Good point.
It's the MVP tour. He's gonna go in the night before Halloween. He's gonna be the boogeyman for the Packers, and he's going to continue the MVP tour, and they're gonna beat the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Dub, easy dub. So I think week 9 they play the Jets. I don't know if we want to sit here and break down the Jets.
Tough one. I don't know who's going to win that one.
Like, again, I like the Jets draft. I like what they've like. I kind of like what they've done in free agency. I think their general manager, he's at least one of the better ones in the league at this moment. It all comes down to Zach Wilson at that point, but I still don't think they have the weapons to be able to absolutely, hang with the Buffalo Bills at this point. I think Zach Wilson, again, I think last year when we faced the Jets, we played Mike White, and then like Zach Wilson ended up getting like hurt against us or something like that. I don't know. He looked like trash, and I just don't remember it. But like, I think that it all kind of comes down to their defense. They're going to be stingy on defense. They're the Jets. They have a defensive head coach. But their offense, who knows what it's going to be? I don't know. I like the Breece Hall, Michael Carter tandem they have in the backfield. I think they're probably going to just focus on running the ball. Their offensive line isn't terrible anymore. They definitely drafted some guys, but yeah, the Jets, I don't think this is one to worry about. This is kind of one of those ones where you want to look at the schedule and go, oh, easy dub. But again, these, inter-division matchups, you never really know. They might catch you off guard, but I'd be pretty confident in putting my money on the Bills on this one.
Yeah, agreed.
So we're going to skip that week 9. Week 10, the Minnesota Vikings are coming to town. And if Caveman were here, he would just say, well, Kirk Cousins is their quarterback, so that means that the Bills are going to win. So the Vikings, man, I don't know. I don't know what to really say about them. And I'll maybe ask a little bit of your input, but
the Vikings?
Like Justin Jefferson. Is this the first meeting we're going to have with the Vikings since Justin Jefferson was drafted?
Yeah, I think since Stephon Diggs came to our team, yeah.
So this is going to be the Stephon Diggs revenge game, finally. It's going to be a couple of years, but everybody's going to be talking about it.
Yeah, because it was Josh Allen's rookie year, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah. And so I think that this game, Minnesota, I can't say I followed their team very much. They're always one of those teams that you feel like they're going to be okay, but then they aren't, and they're average, and that's because they have an average quarterback.
I mean, that's where I'll disagree with you. I do think Kirk Cousins is good. I think he's really good. I think he is
really good.
I think he is,
or like he's like good. Like he's above average.
See, the way my mind works, right? I have like excellent, like let's say this is Josh Allen and then Patrick Mahomes, right? And then these are like excellent, and then everybody else is kind of like really good, scratching upon excellent, right? That's where you get your Aaron Rodgers and your Tom Brady's and your Justin Herberts, right? And then you have your I don't know about Justin Herbert, but my point is I do like levels, right? So if I say Kirk Cousins is really good, I mean like he literally just like screwed or sawed a hole into the ice and stuck his head through into really good and is peeking around to see what's going on, right? Like his whole lower neck and body is still in good territory.
And all he has to do is kind of climb up.
Yeah, but exactly.
Sometimes he keeps slipping down because he's not very consistent. That's my problem with Kirk Cousins is he'll have a game where he's absolutely going off and feeding Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. You're like, oh, wow, this is really good, Kirk Cousins. And then the next day you can't hit the broadside of a barn. You're like, what are you doing? Yeah. You're ruining my fantasy numbers, Kirk Cousins. Like you cost me this
extremely week. Inconsistent. That is fair. That's fair. And
that's what I think keeps him from being really good is you got to, at least if you're really good, you got to have the consistency. And I don't think he's ever had that in his career, man.
You know what? And since the majority of his body is in good territory, I think it's fair to keep him there.
Yeah.
But I do think he has the potential to be really good any given season. Yeah. But I think that's the easy dub. Justin Jefferson, and I think he probably has a decent game. Dalvin Cook. Oh, Dalvin Cook versus his little brother.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was thinking more, I was thinking towards the Stephon Diggs angle, which they're going to go. But, if by week 10, who knows what it looks like if James Cook is kind of the Thurman Thomas type back, like where you can line him out wide and you can also use him in the backfield and he's shifty and he's got that burst, I think that could be another thing too. If maybe he's RB1. Maybe he's RB1, but that's something we can talk about closer to, the season RB1? Starting. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't think if you take a running back in the second round, if it was the fourth round, I'd be like, they're considering him. But in the second round, I feel like they would be a little disappointed if he's not really pressuring Devin Singletary for that RB1 spot.
I mean, Devin Singletary was third rounder, and James Cook was the second rounder. So value wise, theoretically, James Cook should be better. So
he should be pressing for RB1 this year. That's what he should be doing. So I love that. That's probably going to be a good game, but I'm more focused on the next game because that is also a game that I am thinking of possibly going to. It all depends on who the starting quarterback for the other team is going to be. The Cleveland Browns are coming to town, and I didn't know if I wanted to buy my tickets now, because if I buy the tickets now and Deshaun Watson, I think even if he did get suspended, he's playing by week 11.
You think so?
Yeah, well, it all depends if it's a year-long suspension.
See, I don't know. That's why
I think it could be 8 games. So by week 11,
what do you think they should do?
I feel like he should be on the exempt list until till everything is settled. I think that's just what should happen. I feel like that's what they've done in the past, and for some reason, this is different because they're civil and not criminal charges. So
right. That's right.
So they don't want to put him on the exempt list because then they're, acting as if he's guilty and, whatever. But they're saying that this whole thing could push into 2023, which means he could play this whole season before anything actually happens. So
I think the NFL knows more than they're leading on, because
it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, there's no way you're letting this slide. Like 22, like there's no way you're letting this slide.
Yeah,
that number is gross. So either he, and I hate to say this, right? I feel like theoretically maybe he got set up, right? Maybe, and I think the NFL might see it that way, and maybe that's why they're not doing anything about it, because I feel like we should know something by now. You guys are people say it's FBI level of investigation. Draft picks, they'll go back to your kindergarten teacher and ask how you what I'm saying, that type of level of digging. And for us not to know anything about 22 civil, that's egregious. That's what I'm saying. So
it's so hard, man, because of course we've been talking about this for, it seems like almost over a year now.
It has been over a year.
And we sit here and we talk about it. I think the thing that kind of sealed it for me that there's something more going on than it being a setup is when reporters at the Browns press conference for him being introduced asked him point blank to his face, why 22 different massage therapists? Because they're all confirmed to have been with him. They are confirmed to, he had met them. They have DMs. They have all that stuff. They have confirmation that he was with them. They were like, why 22? Who needs 22 different massage therapists?
That's a great point.
And they brought that up, and he was like, well, we can't, I can't really get into that and all that. It's really complicated and all this stuff. And I'm
I understand that just from a law perspective.
Yeah, he can't say anything, right?
Yeah.
He can't say anything. But the fact that when they asked him, why 22, it's just kind of yeah, that is really weird, man.
Yeah, that is
22 different ones within, I think it was only a couple year span. So it's 22.
Especially if you get them often, you probably have ones that you like, people that you trust and prefer. And not only that, bro, you're a millionaire. Pay somebody to
have someone come to your house, dude.
Bro, seriously, son. Bro, people done money for much worse. You could find so stupid. It just make me so. Anyway,
it's weird, but Cleveland Browns coming to town, dude. I like the Browns. I think that now they've got Amari Cooper. I've never been high on Amari Cooper.
They might be the most hated team.
They're the villains this year, and I never thought about that because I'm just sitting here they're Lake Erie bros. We're supposed to the Browns is the Browns. We're supposed to feel bad for them, just we stunk together. And now it's just kind of now they're, hanging out with the wrong crowd, and you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm, you're not my friend anymore. You changed.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, you've changed. So yeah, the Cleveland Browns. I think that's going to be a good game. If Deshaun Watson's coming to town, it's going to be a good game. With Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, it's going to be a great game.
That is
like. So I think the Browns, if it was Baker Mayfield coming into town, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do this, right?
See, but it could be neither. I mean, it's definitely not going to be Baker.
No, so Baker's going to be like in Carolina or something.
They have to pray that Deshaun Watson is there, because if not, who is their backup right now?
I don't even know who their backup is right now. Dude.
I know they gave us Case Keenum.
It's not Andy Dalton or something, is it?
I mean,
is it Andy Dalton?
Is somebody in that range?
Or did Andy Dalton sign with the Saints? I don't know. The
Saints,
yeah, but the Browns, dude. If Deshaun Watson's there, that's gonna be a hell of a game. I'm not gonna say that's an easy dub. I mean, I know he hasn't played
roster.
Yeah, I would say that that's one that I'd be like, they got a hell of a defense. Their offense with Deshaun Watson, I know he hasn't played in a year, but, he's been training. It's not like he hasn't been doing anything. So I think that he'd probably step in, and they're going to be a formidable team. Or they're going to be frauds, which I've seen the Browns be before. So
that's very possible as well.
I don't know. So I'm going to not chalk that one up as a dub. I'm not going to say it's an L either. I'm just going to kind of keep that neutral. I'll wait and see how the season plays out going up to that game.
Well, I don't care who's under center. I still don't think they'll be as good as us.
So because at this point, dude, we've got them going 10-0.
Yeah.
Or like 9-0. Or after this would be 10-0.
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all, like, man. See, here's the thing. Like, I'm a logical thinker, right? So, do I think the Bills logically will go 17-0? No, I don't.
There's going to be a few ones in there.
Right. Like, there's some unexpected things that you don't know. Like, the offensive line is going to play like dog shit, like, for 2 or 3 games. Out of
season. And then the Jags are going to beat you.
Exactly. Exactly. Or the Colts are going to run for 400 yards.
Oh my God.
Like, so, things like that happen. They happen. So, the thing about when the schedule is released and you're talking about projecting games, like, you don't know that the refs aren't going to call pass interference on the Buccaneers and we going to over whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that, right? So it's hard to gauge which games those things will happen in. And if I'm looking at it from a pure net value perspective, I think the Bills have a higher net value in terms of talent level, in terms of coaching, in terms of ability at the most important positions, in terms of unit strength.
Sure.
There's not very many teams that could really F with us.
I mean, again, looking at this, it's like, just logically, if you're just going based on, you're not factoring in any given Sunday.
Right.
Position wise, most of these teams are not built to really go toe to toe with a team that's as constructed as the Bills. So we sit here and it's like, yeah, we don't want to sound like homers by being like, yeah, that should be a dub. But kind of the way that this is falling is kind of just like, unless the Bills beat themselves, none of these teams really have, what it takes. Maybe outside of the Rams, and if the Chiefs are able to pull something out of their, butts. But like those are games that, again, I've been like, they can go either way. Those teams are, they're franchises that are in the hunt and they're good teams. So, like the Browns, when I sit there and look at it, it's the Browns are a team that's constructed well, but it all comes down to who's under center, and a lot of these teams just don't have a Josh Allen there. So
exactly.
So
the Rams, real quick, the Rams were the 15th ranked defense.
15th. Okay, so who was second? Oh, it was New England.
Patriots. Yep.
Yeah, I remember New England. That was the big thing, was the number 1 and number 2 defense.
Exactly. And then when they hung 47 points, even Boston beat reporters were like, well, the Patriots aren't that good. Yeah, number 2 defense. Yeah, they're not that
They're
good.
like, oh, come on. The Bills aren't really that good. And come on. They beat the Patriots.
Exactly.
Like you're like, y'all were just talking up your Patriots going into the playoffs. Then you get absolutely bumped,
and then
you're
when they beat the Bills, oh my God, they thought they were in heaven.
Dude, it was like the division's ours. It's back. Bill Belichick's a genius.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go have some clam chowder and just cry over my shrine of Bill Belichick. Yeah. Like Mac Jones is the next Tom Brady. Yeah, all right, pal. Like, okay, so talking about eating, week 12, Detroit Lions. They want to eat kneecaps. We're gonna be eating turkey legs because it's Thanksgiving.
And lion carcass.
Yeah. So, like, dude, it's the Lions. But I said that about the Jags last year, man. And it makes me not. The Lions had a good draft. They did.
Oh, they had my favorite draft.
Yeah. So, but are they that good? No, they're still fourth in their division. They're like, actually, I don't know. The Bears are going to be pretty bad this year, too. But, yeah, the Lions. Look, I don't like the fact that this is the early Thanksgiving game. I'm like,
12:30.
Yeah, 12:30. I mean, don't get me wrong. Getting my day started with the Bills is great. But if I'm going to be with my family and the Bills lose to the Lions at the beginning of the day, it's going to ruin my day.
Yeah.
No more thanks going around at my I'm going
to be is shutting off.
I'm thankful that the Buffalo Bills stink. That's what's happening. Like that. It's going to be absolutely livid if we lose the Lions. But again,
not gonna like me.
Just straight up, Bills should absolutely destroy the Lions, right? Like it should be a overwhelmed Jared Goff fest and just pour it on. Like
this should be around the time where Jameson Williams and Tre'Davious might both come back, or in that time range of where they're coming back. So I think that'll make it a lot more interesting, honestly.
Yeah, but it all comes down to who's under center.
Not interesting in terms of like a competitive game, but like in terms of an entertaining game,
Well, yeah, in terms of high level talent going against each other. So, and I feel like that would be great to see if Trey White, is back 100% too. Yeah. So I would love to see that. Lions, again, you're losing on Thanksgiving.
Detroit.
It's tradition. They don't have a primetime game
at all.
0. I mean, I would consider them being on Thanksgiving kind of a primetime game, but they get that every single year. But it's kind of like the fact that they're not on national television once. And usually they get like a Thursday night game or something like that on Amazon, that Thursday night football game. They didn't get any. But yet the NFL was like, no, we're going to give the Patriots and the Steelers 5 primetime games, the max. I'm like, you couldn't give the Lions 1? Like, that's ridiculous. But speaking of the Patriots, we get them week 13.
Is that our first Patriots?
Yeah, week 13, man.
Why do they keep doing that, yo?
I think they think the Patriots are going to be pushing us for the division again.
Yeah, but like, why you give us them twice in like the last 6 or 7 weeks? 2 years in a row, like that's really odd.
Well, I would say that this really favors the Patriots too, because they're getting it in December, so what the weather's like.
Crappy weather.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, let's make it interesting, and maybe New England can pull the upset. Let's give them the Bills towards the end of the year. New England, Thursday, December 1st. It's at 8:15. It's the Thursday night game, so basically we're going Thursday to Thursday. Actually, yeah, Thursday to Thursday. So I don't know, man. New England, they got so much worse this offseason, dude. Like so much worse. Their offensive line is absolute dog water. Their receivers, I probably couldn't name you anybody. I think N'Keal Harry's still on the team, but they want to trade him away, even though
Kendrick Bourne, maybe.
Kendrick Bourne, sure. I think Nelson Aguilar is still there. Anyway, their offensive line is garbage. Defensively, they're still slow. They can't do anything on defense. They didn't draft my whole paper. I still have my draft sheet where I basically, I tried to guess what the Patriots were going to do in the draft.
I remember that was funny.
I'm surprised. I thought I balled this up and threw it away. Apparently I didn't. I just threw the paper because I was so pissed. Yeah, they didn't do anything to really help themselves. Towards the end of the draft, they drafted a few corners because obviously they lose JC Jackson. They need another corner. But I don't know, man. These Patriots, I would be hard pressed to say that they're not winning 10 games. I was even in the camp that, maybe the Jets could be pushing the Patriots for third in the division. Like, because I think the Dolphins are going to be like that much better than the Patriots, that they'll be able to take advantage of it, especially running that Kyle Shanahan type scheme. I know Bill Belichick can probably game plan for that, but I just speed kills the Patriots, man, and the Dolphins have way more speed. So I think the Patriots are going to stink this year. Our second Patriots game, we'll get to it, could be flexed. I don't think that's for the division at all. So I think this game is I'm going to say, I think this is an easy dub. I know it's Bill Belichick, but I feel like we got that monkey off our back last year. What you think?
I have to agree. I am with you. I think the Patriots have a very good shot at being dead last in the division this year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I said that the Dolphins would probably be second and the Patriots would be third. And of course, the Patriots kind of had a surprise. They went on like a 6-game win streak or something like that
against bums. By the way,
for sure. But to be fair,
we play those same bums too.
Yeah, exactly. You have to play who's in front of you, and so 6-game win streak is nothing to sneeze at. They obviously took the second place, and they even had the division, first place for a bit. Didn't last long, but
let's not forget though. The Dolphins were pushing them.
Oh, that's true.
Place spot.
They almost, it was like week 17 or something.
Yeah, the Dolphins, all the Dolphins had to do was beat the Titans and then beat the Patriots the next game, and they would have been second in the AFC East, and the Patriots would have been out of the playoffs. But they lost to the Titans, but they still beat the Patriots. So it's kind of like the Dolphins were already right there. And now the Dolphins got faster and upgraded a lot of positions, especially on offense. So I think New England, I think that easily pushes them down to third, to where now the Jets are just kind of clawing up to try not to be, fourth.
I don't know, man. Jets had a pretty decent draft.
You don't got to tell me. I know.
I think with the way the Jets second are, and they had a low key good free agency as well. Like, they were trying to get a lot of splash names. They couldn't get.
They wanted Debo,
but they did get a couple.
Yeah.
They got Garrett Wilson. They got Sauce Gardner. Was it Garrett Wilson or was it Olave?
No, they got Garrett Wilson, who is one of the smoothest route runners in the draft, and they have Elijah Moore in the slot, and he's fast. So, again, New England Patriots didn't draft anybody that could cover speed. Their linebackers are still old and slow. I mean, again, Brandon Bryant, we put Isaiah McKenzie on him, and he absolutely ate. So I think that all these other teams in our division need to do is look back at that game and go, where's Brandon Bryant? Okay, fastest guy. Here, Waddle, you're on Bryant. You run that way. And then Elijah Moore, okay, yeah, you're on Bryant. You go. Like, everybody in our division has gotten faster, and the Patriots are like, no, we're going to be old and slow and play hard-nosed defense. And it's like, what are you doing, Bill? Stop it.
Yo, that was hilarious because you said it in Bill Belichick's voice.
Yeah.
No,
we're going to be old and slow.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to get people when they're old and cheap.
I agree. I think the Patriots might be dead last. They could be.
They could be.
I wouldn't be surprised. So,
but it wouldn't surprise me if they pull something out of their butt too, dude. They're second in the division. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Okay, week 14, Jets.
Just because I think that.
Oh, I'm coming to this game. I'm coming to this game too.
Is that in Buffalo or the Meadowlands?
Yeah, in Buffalo. New York Jets.
Then, I might be at all the games. We'll see. I don't know. People. We'll see. But
I'm going to this game just because it's the Jets, and I think the Bills. Like, I try to pick games where I think the Bills are going to win, so that I'm not sad. Hence why I thought going to the Jacksonville game last year was a good one. And I had perfect. I've never explained this, but I had perfect seats. I was in the upper bowl, right? Like, and most people are like, oh, the upper bowl. It's like, no, I was in the first row of the upper bowl, midfield. I felt like I was watching all 22 film, man.
You got the
Like,
shade?
it was great. And I'm sitting there just watching the game. I had a couple vitamins. I had a giant Michelob Ultra, probably had about 4 or 5 of them before I went into the game too. And I was living life. And then by the end of it, I'm like, what happened? And then I got drunk people yelling Duval in my face. And I'm like, oh, terrible. New York Jets, we got to spank them, dude. If I'm going to this game, we got to spank them. And I think we would. I think, again, they're, like we said about the Jets last time, they're good, but they're kind of, building themselves up. They're young, but they don't hold a candle to the Bills. I don't think so.
I'm interested to see what Zach Wilson to do.
Yeah, I mean, for my future father-in-law's sake, I hope that he takes a step forward so that he can, come slightly out of depression a little bit more. But I also don't want him to be good because it's the Jets, and I would rather everyone in our division just stink. So
right, agreed.
But yeah, whatever. Next one, TBD. So this one doesn't have a date because they're thinking the Dolphins could be pushing us, and this could be another game that gets flexed in a prime time. So Miami Dolphins, end of the season, when they're coming up to Buffalo, look, man, that team's not built for the cold, man. They're not. So again, it all comes down to who's under center. I just don't think the Dolphins can do it.
You're going to get Tua Tagovailoa stepping back, throwing not touch passes. What is it? A lob pass to the screen to Tyreek Hill 10 yards away is going to get picked off. No, definitely not built for the cold. Dolphins are going to have a long day on that day.
100%. Next one, Christmas Eve. And the best thing that the Bills can give us on Christmas Eve is an absolute beatdown of the Chicago Bears. This team looks like garbage. And honestly, it's just they're in their first year now of a rebuild because they got rid of Nagy, Nagy and Pace. They're rebuilding. They got a whole new general manager. This team is doo-doo, and they're probably going to be in contention for the number 1 pick. Again, I want Justin Fields to be good. They're in the NFC. I don't care what quarterback ends up being good as long as they're in the NFC. But when I see young guys like that, obviously, you don't want to wish for someone to fail. He's in a terrible situation right now. But the Chicago Bears, they're bad, man. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm rooting for Justin Fields. I do want him to succeed. When I think of this game, I really think of like the the Saints Thanksgiving game last year. Yeah. Where it's just like bad team, holiday. I wasn't even really paying attention to the game last year. I almost cried when I found out that Tre'Davious White tore his ACL. But that was holiday game probably will be a family. Probably won't even really be paying attention. Well, that's a lie. The only reason I wasn't paying attention is because the Wi-Fi was garbage. But I was also having a good time on Thanksgiving, so that helped the situation. But got to make it happen. Got to just blow them out. Just put on a show. Entertain folks. And have a Merry Christmas, and give Buffalo this just gift wrap. What week is that?
And that is Saturday. That is week 16.
Week 16. All right, Josh Allen should be breaking some kind of record by that point.
He should be breaking some kind of record, and probably, it's coming down to who's going to be the MVP. This is like one of those games. Put a bow on it. It's Christmas, baby. Agreed. So it's like, I want nothing more. 1 p.m. It can be snowing in Chicago on Christmas Eve. I don't care. Make it beautiful. Go in there and absolutely. That reminds me. It just kind of reminds me of it's a Saturday game, so it's at 1. Kind of like when we played the Broncos a couple of years ago to secure the playoffs. It's just kind of like we absolutely manhandled them. I think that's probably what this Bears team is going to be like. So, dub. All right. So currently the Bills are undefeated according to us. So. So the next game, this is going to be a great one. Monday, January 2nd, week 17, at Paul Brown Stadium, the Cincinnati Bengals. This is look, I like Joe Burrow. I think he's cool. Joe cool. You know, I like the whole thing. They would have got their ass blown out by us last year. And we got better. Now they got a couple of positions that they kind of upgraded on, you know, but they also lost Ogunjobi, their defensive tackle. Like the Bengals, they're kind of like the same, right? They're one of those teams that I think are going to suffer from. They bring the same team back. Well, guess what? You exploded last year. Teams are going to know what to look for this year, you know? Like, hey, oh, yeah, we're not going to let you just Jamar Chase us all the time now. We're going to bracket him. We're going to make you have to beat us with. And again, they have Higgins and Boyd. Like, he's got other weapons.
But you're going to beat us with Boyd.
Yeah.
Beat us with Boyd.
You have to beat. He lost CJ Uzomah. So it's kind of just like, all right, what are we doing? So this is another one that I can't say easy dub. I
actually think the Bengals might win this one. And I'll tell you why. I think that because the Buffalo Bills are already 16-0.
Sure, right? They've got the division locked up.
They got the conference locked up.
Yeah.
Number 1 seed. Josh Allen is unanimous MVP. Rest your starters. And, you know, I think Case Keenum comes in, maybe throws an untimely interception. And, you know, maybe, you know, Joe Burrow comes back and he wins in the final seconds and he looks like a hero because he beat Case Keenum in the backups. But, you know, here's the thing about Joe Burrow for me.
Sure.
I really wish Joe Burrow was rated where he's supposed to be rated I could root for him. But because people want to refer to him as a top 5 quarterback, he's not a top 5 quarterback.
No,
he's
not.
He's scratching the surface of a top 10 quarterback, from being completely honest.
Sure.
Right. He might be slivering his way into that top 10. He might be like top 8 at the most to me.
Well, yeah, that's why I was going to say he might be like 10.
Yeah, he's
9?
somewhere in that 8 to 12 range. Yeah. And I really wish people rated him where he's supposed to be, which is there, so I could root for him because he's, you know what I'm saying? I like the swagger. I like the confidence, you know what I'm saying? And he's not like overly cocky like Baker does, or he's not like Johnny. He's a humble, confident, and talented guy. Yeah. And I like that, you know. I like the fact that he's a winner. I like the fact that he is going to tell you he's a winner because he should. He's won a college championship. He's won an AFC championship. Like, come on now, like talk your ish, boy. But and then people will tell you.
1 second, Justice. Anybody who's watching this right now, make sure you're sharing this out. Also, drop what you think the Bills' final record is going to be, because right now, currently, me and Justice think they're going undefeated. So I'd like to see what other people think. I know a lot of people. You got to have a margin for error. So if you're watching, go ahead and drop that down there and let us know what you're thinking. You know, the Buffalo Bills schedule is like going. How's it going to turn out? What's the record going to be? But go ahead, Justice.
Absolutely. No. I was just saying, I really wish that Joe Burrow was rated where he's supposed to be, because I can't root for him now as a top 5 if you think he's a top 5 quarterback, because now I'm looking at you like, no, you're being unrealistic. Like, that's not even a real thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like Justin Herbert for me, right? Do I think Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback? No. Does he have potential? Obviously.
He has the potential to do it, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, you can't sit here and tell me he doesn't, right? Like, you're not watching football. You don't have eyes, right? But when you watch his film and his game, like, not his highlights, but his film, okay? Watch his games in entirety. He makes a ton of mistakes.
He does.
Like, he's not close to perfect, and no quarterback is close to perfect, but he's not in that Brady, Rodgers, Allen, Mahomes, right? He's not in that. He's not in that tier. I'm sorry. Okay. Like, if you watch the Raiders game, did he make every throw when he absolutely needed to? Yes. But he also put himself in a position where he absolutely needed to make that throw, right? It was like 4th and 10, and he makes a beautiful throw, and it's on the money, and great pass by Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But he was just 0 for 3 on the first 3 downs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, he has the potential, but we got to stop putting these guys top. They're not top 5 yet. Okay.
Yeah.
They have the potential, but not yet. So that's where I find myself rooting against people. And it's kind of like you guys know how hard I am on like Baker and Tua, right? Well, but the only reason I am is because I had Baker Mayfield fans in my mentions his rookie season talking about how garbage Josh Allen is and how great Baker Mayfield's going to be. And now the tables are turning. I get to I was gonna say something really vulgar, but I get to turn the tables and be like, well, now who's garbage? Like, you don't even have he's not even your quarterback. But realistically, Baker's pretty decent. But I crap on him because we have the best quarterback in the league, and like, how many times in your lifetime can you say that? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But ultimately, what I'm saying is, guys like Joe Burrow, and again, they put him in his top 5 range because he went to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, newsflash: Joe Burrow, nor that offense, period, was the reason they went to the Super Bowl. It was the defense. Defense carried them the entire way. Entire playoffs, the defense carried them. So, like, stop calling them top 5. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And before I throw the input in there, here's Coach Boom, 15-2. Hey, man, I think that's reasonable, man. I think the 15-2. We got Joe here saying spank the Rams, put everyone on notice. Look, I think it is. If they go out and absolutely annihilate the Rams, it's going to make every team, like, you thought they already had the Bills circled on their schedule. They really are going to do that now if they go on and put that.
The only annoying thing, well, shout out to Coach Boom and shout out to Joe. Thank you guys for this.
Joe also says 14-3 record. Again, I could see that. We've talked about a couple games that could be wishy-washy, and then towards the end of the season here, if the Bills have things locked up, I mean, we've seen it before where they just sitting down. You know?
The only thing about if we spank the Rams is going to be the Bills would have won a Super Bowl. And that's going to kind of piss me off because we did it.
Man,
so I don't want to hear about it. Exactly. I already feel that way. Like that. Exactly. So, like, the Bills would have went to the Super Bowl. They would have won this game. And yes, I know. But we weren't. So let's stop talking about it now.
Yeah. Let's win it this year. Again, exactly. But, talking about the Bengals, and again, Joe Burrow, he's not top 5. Again, being in the sports media world, it's recency bias, man. Everybody's got recency bias. Whoever's killing it now. Like, I got to remind everybody, Joe Flacco went to a Super Bowl too. He won it, and he won Super Bowl MVP. Newsflash: he was never a top 5 quarterback.
Facts.
Yeah, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Newsflash: MVP. Yeah, Super Bowl MVP. Not a top 5 quarterback ever. Facts. So I got to say, Joe Burrow, again, I like Joe Burrow. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think he's one of those quarterbacks that if you have a good team around him, you're going to be a good team. He's not a quarterback that's going to hurt you. Agreed. So, and I like that. He can be a good to really good quarterback, but I think he kind of suffers from you paired him with Jamar Chase. Now it's kind of the Patrick Mahomes syndrome where he bails him out a lot. Yep. He's got these weapons that bail him out a lot. We talked about it last year. It was F it, Jamar down there somewhere. It's the same thing Mahomes did with Tyreek. So I don't know. He's not top 5. I think he's top 10. He's a good like game manager type quarterback that can make big plays, and he's got like his arm talent's pretty good. He doesn't have the strongest cannon of an arm, but he's accurate. And that's the thing that I like about him. And he can diagnose the defenses. He's got a good football IQ. He's got a good head on his shoulders, but he's not the most athletic guy. So, could he possibly be Joe? Could he be Tom Brady? I mean, he could develop into it. Who knows? Tom Brady was never athletic. He was just smart, and he had really good ball placement, and he was able to kill you. So could he be that? Yeah, sure. But right now, no, man, he's not top 10, not yet. Especially when you see some of the freaks that are out here in the league, like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers still being here. Like he's towards the middle of the list. Like there's way worse quarterbacks than him, but there's quite a few that are ahead of him as well. So the last game. This is TBT, so this could be another game that is flexed, and it is the last game of the season. The New England Patriots at Highmark Stadium. Justice, at this point, I want to say that the New England Patriots, again, it all depends. If the New England Patriots are pushing us, this will be a primetime game. I'll tell you that right now. If they aren't, if they're pushing us, that's what I'm saying. But if they're not, this is a Sunday at 1:00 game that they bury it. Yeah.
I think the New England Patriots in this game, I think this game is going to decide whether they have a top 10 pick in the draft or not.
It could. And honestly, I would not put it past the Bills to be like, oh, you want a top 10 pick? Actually, we're gonna start Josh Allen this week. You're actually, no, we're not gonna start Josh Allen. Matt Barkley's starting this week. You guys are gonna have to try to lose this game to get a better pick. That's what's going on. So Allen beats Rodgers for MVP and wins Super Bowl MVP. Look, I don't think that's out of the question, Joe. One of the things is, it hasn't been done a lot where a person wins MVP and Super Bowl MVP in the same season. I believe it's only happened a handful of times. Josh Allen has the real possibility to do that, because a lot of the time the MVP award goes to a person who kind of carried their team, and that team's maybe not built for postseason success, or maybe they were and they don't make it to the Super Bowl or something like that. That's kind of what happens with this. But I think Josh Allen and the Bills, this team has the real chance to be able to win the MVP and be built for postseason success. And Josh Allen, unless somebody absolutely goes nuts in the Super Bowl, like wide receiver wise, like if Gabe Davis caught 4 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl, maybe he's in consideration for Super Bowl MVP, but we all know it's basically the most valuable quarterback award. So I think
that's a good point. He might have been Super Bowl MVP if he had that game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if he had that game in the Super Bowl, maybe he's pushing.
But Josh Allen still went absolutely nuts, so that'd have been.
Again, it always usually goes to the quarterback, unless you're Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl and it has to go to Aaron Donald because he's an absolute monster.
Yeah, or unless you're like Tom Brady, who's already won it, so you got to give it to Troy Brown.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, man, we can't give it to Brady again.
Right.
But yeah, New England Patriots. But that's the whole schedule. Again, I would lean more in the 15-2 camp. I think there's a couple of these games that the Bills will cough up, and towards the end of the season, again, the New England Patriots, they could be playing our backups of our backups, but we have seen that our backups have put whoopings on teams before. So I wouldn't put it past them. If I was being safe, I'd say just 14-3. I think 14-3 gets you the 1 seed, and you're, easily coasting into the playoffs. But I don't know if the Bills want the 1 seed, and we can have that conversation next week. But the 1 seed, I think the Bills may be a better team that doesn't sit at home. One, rest your starters in week 18, and then also sit at home for an extra week. I don't know if I kind of want that for the Bills. So, but then again, when I look at that, I'm like,
high-flying offense playing Buffalo going throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But then I'm like, okay, well then who's going to be the 1 seed ahead of the Bills? And I don't know who I can put that there. So
now if it's LA or maybe Las Vegas or something like that might work out for us, because they play out there in the nice weather.
Yeah.
And if we go out to those places, we could just stomp them on their home turf, and have Josh Allen be able to throw the ball 50 yards down the field because it's in a dome or it's beautiful sunny California.
Yeah, they're in the giant Roomba in Las Vegas or whatever, man. Like it's
giant Roomba.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that thing from the sky? I said that to
That's
Adam
what made me laugh, because I thought it looked like a giant Roomba.
Yeah, I drove by it while they were still building it during COVID. I went to Vegas, which nothing was open, so I don't know why I was there. But they actually let me go inside of it, so I got to kind of see it because I was just walking around. I was bored one day, so I walked to the stadium, and they were like having like tours of it, but they were like free to the public for the people of Vegas. So I kind of just walked in like, oh yeah, I live here, yeah, whatever. So I go and I look inside of it. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then they're like, and here is the sky view of the thing. And the first thing that popped in my mind was, it looks like the Roomba that's in my house. like
with the little button in the middle.
Yeah, with a little button of it. But no, man, I love that. But no, man, this is awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, obviously, we're gonna milk this stuff a little bit more. Maybe we'll go more into some some details of some of these matchups, especially ones that people really are looking forward to, especially the Rams one. I can't wait to get that on there. But yeah, if you're still watching, if you've tuned in, we're, hitting close to 2 hours. Make sure you smash that like on your way out. It is 11:10, so I'm sure a lot of you people are probably getting ready for bed. So, it's Friday night, and we've been those Friday night guys. Justice, you have any final thoughts on these, on this schedule, other than the Bills are going 17-0?
No, actually, I might shock a couple of people. I found that when I bloviate, and I don't even know I would call it bloviating. Again, I'm just a logical person.
Okay, I'm about to put the definition of bloviate in a little card at the bottom of the screen here for everybody who doesn't know what that means.
Okay. I only know it because Stephen A. Smith said it, but every time I say we go 17-0, some wildness happens. So I'm just gonna stay on the safe side. I'm gonna say 12-5. All right. And I know that's not a Justice answer because it's not the real answer, but it's the one I'm putting out into the universe so that the universe will reverse it and we go 17-0, because that's what seems to happen. So I think we go, I'll say 12-5, AFC East champs. That's not at all what I was doing then. All right. Well, I guess I got to stop using.
Smash like if you love to bloviate.
But yeah, I'm gonna go for my safe pick. I'm going to say 12-5. But
12-5.
As far as I don't believe that, but I'm gonna put that out into the ether.
I don't want that in the ether because I don't want anybody grabbing that. I need 15-2 out in the ether, man.
See, now when I say 17-0, we go like 11-6 or whatever we went last year. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we're going 0-17. There you go. Say that, Justice. Could you? I don't even want to put that. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bob.
Yeah, right.
But let's. Again, every team has the ability to possibly go 0-17 every year. So, if the Bills did, man, I couldn't even tell you what would happen. But no, man,
we definitely wouldn't make it through this season. As far as content creators, I probably would stop doing shows at like week 8. If we were 0-7, I'm sorry. I just couldn't. I couldn't muster up the energy to sit here and pretend I want to talk football with you guys.
We're going on a hiatus. Oh, there we go, Scott. There we go, 17-0.
And I agree with you, but the universe didn't hear that.
Yeah, the universe didn't hear that. 17-0. If there was any team, like if somebody came up to you, and this is the final thing. If there was anybody they could just come up to you and they're like, all right, you have to pick somebody's going to go 17-0 undefeated and win the Super Bowl this year. If you had to pick a team in the NFL and just ask somebody to do it, what team are you picking?
And, it's because we had to gear up for that unstoppable Chiefs team.
Yeah.
That team was like crazy good, right? They went 16-1.
Let's go DH 14-3, baby.
The Chiefs team went 15-1 in 1 year. Like, they were unstoppable, and we had to gear up to beat those guys. And then we finally got to a position where we were better than those guys, and they're like, we're just gonna trade away our second best player. And we're like, now we're just god-tiered roster and talent, and we don't even have another god-tier team to battle it out with. You know what I'm saying?
This is lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the plankton thing. It's like, all right, well, what now? Well, I didn't think I would get this far. What? We got Von Miller, and it's like we're like, oh, we're gonna draft a corner too, and they're like, all right, bye Tyreek Hill. We're like, oh, we needed a corner to stop Tyreek Hill.
What if we sneakily got OBJ? I mean,
at the end, dude. Here's the thing: at the end of the season. Like, if you're just like, all right, well, we can sign a couple of guys just in case. I mean, if you remember a couple of years ago, we signed Kenny Stills, and we signed Devontae Freeman. Yeah, we had Devontae Freeman, running back. Yeah, we signed him too, and then he ended up being the running back for the Ravens last year, and he was pretty good still. So, I wouldn't put it past the Bills. You know, if they're, I would say that he would probably want to go to a team that needs a wide receiver a little bit more than the Bills do. But let's see. Oh, we got comments rolling in already. You guys are rolling in comments.
Yo, where was y'all the whole show? Right? Like,
look at this. I love that. All right, Scott Blakely, we're taking down the Finns 1972. Hey, Scott, I'm telling you, Scott. If there's one team that can do it this year, if somebody were to say it, it is the Bills. I mean, there's no team that's honestly. Oh my God, DH, what are we doing? This is a family show, DH. What are we doing?
Oh man,
well,
that's funny.
Well, while you're that,
his avatar is exactly how I feel.
and while it is in that state, you should use it to press like for the video. Smash like.
Oh,
there you go. So there we go, man. I love this.
Guys, please comment more during the show next time. Like, this is awesome.
I love this, you guys. But yeah, if anybody else who's still watching wants to drop their final predictions down before we really end the show. 14-3. I'm seeing 17-0. I like the energy from Scott. 14-3, 15-2 from Coach Boom. I feel like those are more reasonable. I mean, you got a few MacGuffin games in there, and if you're saying 14 or 15-2. You're probably assuming by the end of the season, you're probably playing your backups against New England. You're probably going to lose that game. And then you're just counting in there. Maybe you lose to the Rams week 1 because maybe you're not fully ready, or one of these teams like the Browns or somebody gets you. But sorry, guys, I'm tripping over here. I love you, DH. This is awesome, man. These are some awesome comments. But yeah, man, I think those are reasonable. 14-3. I would say if I had to put money down on anything, I'd say 14-3. Because I don't really see a stretch in here where the Bills would really fall. They've got a pretty, like, I would say it's not a easy schedule, but it's a forgiving schedule. They definitely get a lot of extra days to prepare for things, and you know, when you give
so many great teams in a row or anything like that.
Yeah, like we don't really have a killer stretch. I mean, like if I look back here, maybe the killer. No, dude. I mean, maybe the killer stretches at the beginning where you got Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the Chiefs, and then the Packers after a bye. Maybe that's kind of a stretch, but I'd be hard pressed to really find anything else. You've got like the Jets woven in between a few games, or maybe even the Lions. Like, you know, it's a nice schedule. It's not like last year where we're like, dude, we got gauntlets that we got to run through.
I saw the strength of schedule, and it was like directly in the middle. So
yeah, and I like that,
like
especially
502 or something like that.
For a team like us, who's I have the talent that we do, and you know, probably have the type of team that we think we're gonna have. Like being right in the middle, dude, we can take advantage of that, and like this could be a beautiful season. I'm ready for it. Every week, I feel like I'm just going to, you know, we always get our superstitions.
Over. Take the over. Okay.
Let's see, you guys, real quick.
5K. JA5K. Okay.
Yeah, JA5K. I'll go with that. I love that. You need to keep that. Write that down somewhere. JA5K. We're gonna use that. But you guys real quick. I would definitely see. It all depends, because last year I don't think Josh Allen gets it because they tried to force running the ball.
Not only that, but the offensive line was hot garbage for like 4 games.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that, JA5K is probably a real possibility this year, man. I'd put some money on that. That he gets that. Yeah, man, this is an awesome show. I mean, I guess, do we want to get into final thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know, coming back, we gave you guys a 2-hour show. I feel like that's enough, you know.
No, it's not enough. We got to go till 3 in the morning.
3 in the morning.
Oh. 3 in the morning.
I miss Wolf.
Spin too, man. Those guys.
Spin, awesome. Yeah. We gotta communicate with those guys.
Yeah, we got to get them in here. We're gonna be like, hey, we're doing a show till 3 a.m. They'll show up.
Right, exactly. Definitely. But you got any final thoughts for us tonight, Jake?
Man, You guys can't leave now. You're just getting good. What, you saying that you saying we haven't been good for the last 2 hours?
Y'all weren't commenting. You know what I'm saying? We had to go off the dome, like.
Oh man. But just final thoughts. This is a great schedule, dude. Like, I'm so excited for this year. I know the reveal was last night. We kind of had all these games a few, like, many hours before the actual reveal. But dude, it's gonna be so fun to go to some of these games this year. Especially, I went to one last year. I'm going to 2 home games this year and then an away game. So it's gonna be fun. I know, Ryan wants us all to meet up, and obviously I want to do that. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to go to some of these games, and I hope the Bills go 17-0 and we absolutely like break records. And finally, in this room of all these AFC championship banners that I have from the 90s, I can hang a Super Bowl banner in here. Yeah. So I can't wait. And we can finally get one and be tied with the Jets for the amount of Super Bowls. So, yeah, just give me one, man. One before I die.
Absolutely. I have a few connections who, so they tell me, where I may be able to attend quite a few games this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to definitely make an effort to get out and meet Bills Mafia, because I am mostly an internet guy. I've never been to a game and yada yada yada, the whole nine, right? But I do want to get out and talk to you guys, especially now that we're over here at Bills Mafia and the fan base. I think it's important that we get you guys' testimony and everything like that. And so we want to talk to you guys more. So we're going to be more hands-on and more tailgatey and things like that, So we'll be out in
Bills Mafia tailgate. I will tell you right now, if you are going to any of the games, if you've watched the show, if you're going to any of those, ECC, go to that tailgate and you will see me there. It was wild last time I was there. And if you tailgate over there, make sure to be looking for me, because I know that when Ryan and you guys, if we meet up at games, ECC, man, that is the tailgate to go to. Those people go crazy out there. Plus, we all play football usually while we're out there too. So that's awesome. There we go. DH, gotta go to bed. Final thought is, where will you be when the confetti drops and Terry Pagula, Kim Pagula, Brandon Bean, Sean McDermott, and J17 are listening to the Lombardi?
Well, hopefully, I'll be in Glendale, Arizona.
So. I will be getting in my car, driving up to Buffalo, getting ready for the parade. That's where I'll be. As soon as the clock hits 0, I will be packing my bag. DH. That's what I've got. Oh, Scott Blakely. Did I say 17-0? Oops, 20-0 is what I meant. We're gonna kill it, guys. Yeah, I think we are too, man. It's gonna be 100%. Awesome.
100%. So we look forward to seeing you guys this season. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. You guys know we appreciate you. Every like, comment, subscription, share,
smash like on your way out.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. This has been First Round By with your favorite Friday night guy.
The Friday night guys underneath the Friday night lights.
Thank you, Jake. Yeah, we just started. Did we? We just started.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry, Scott. I lost track of the time, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is the official network of the original Bills Mafia. I'm Justice. This is my man, Jake. Follow us on Twitter, Justice General, Jake the Bills fan. Make sure you guys tune into the Lowdown every single Friday, and Justice for All every Tuesday at 9 p.m. And we will see you guys next Friday, and we are out.